Okay, you know, after looking at the film and dissecting it, there was plenty to learn from. You know, we had a lot of really good things in the tape. We got to play a lot of young kids, and so we got some reps with them, and that are going to be valuable going forward. And then there were plenty of mistakes that were made throughout the game that you know, we were fortunate to win and still be able to learn from those mistakes. So we you know, we've got to again get those corrected, but there were some really good things coming out of the tape. Well, I saw progress. I saw communication. You know, I mean, we didn't have communication problems. The guys did a much better job of that. I think they executed their pressures well. There were a couple that we gave up some plays on a couple pressures, but I thought other than those two, they you know, fitted up pretty well. Yeah, he was where he was supposed to be. He was you know, doing his job in every scenario. There was not, you know, he didn't have mistakes. He was able to give us some depth when Jalen went down and played inside also. So, you know, it's nice to have a guy back that can play multiple positions up front. I mean, it's you know, it's been tough since day one. You know, I mean, it's just unfortunate. It is what it is, and you know, it's the same old thing. You got, next guy's got to get up, and next guy's got to play, and you hope you can build some type of continuity at some point. Well, I've never been comfortable with the depth, so it doesn't make it any better. So you know, there's only been a few areas on the team where we had some depth and where we had some experience, and now that's gone. So you know what, no, not that I know of as of this point. So, you know, I know by the end of this week, you know, by Thursday, we've got to put something out if there is, and we'll do that. I mean, we're gonna have 5 guys that go out there and 5 guys that fight their butt off. You know, I mean, this is a big game for us. So our guys understand, you know, the importance of it, and Cap will get 5 that'll be ready to go. That's I mean, you know, whether we've had any continuity with the same 5, it is what it is. Not that I remember. Not that I remember. You know, I remember, you know, that when he made the commitment, he wasn't real sure. He wasn't 100%, and so we just felt like we would, if they wanted us to continue to recruit him, we would, and they said they would, and so we continued to do that, and eventually, you know, he decided this is where he wanted to be. I think, you know, deep down in his heart, this is probably where he really wanted to go the whole time, you know, and he just had to find the right time to make that decision. Oh, he was important to us. He was the guy that we had picked from within the state that we felt like could help us win a championship. And so, you know, when you, especially at that position, when you have one in the state, you gotta find a way to get them. Well, we said we had known we were going to take 2 that year. You know, it was the way we had decided. And so every quarterback that we were recruiting at that time, we had told them that we were going to take 2. So, you know, we try to have that planned out in advance. You know, what we're going to do at that position. You know, most years you're taking 1, but then sometimes you get in some situations where you know you're going to end up having to take 2. So at that time, we start telling them, is what the guys that we're recruiting. We're like, hey, we're going to take 2 in this class. So don't think just because you commit, we're not going to take somebody else. I think anytime you're recruiting a guy and he commits to another school, what words you want to use, but you're not happy about it, But at the same time, that's in the world of recruiting. I mean, it happens all the time where a kid may do that, and then a month later he decides that maybe that's not sure what he wants to do. And so usually what we do is when a kid makes a commitment, we usually ask, do you want us to continue to recruit you or not? And if they tell us they don't want us to recruit them, then we don't recruit them. If they tell us they would like us to continue to recruit them, then we feel like the door's still open, and we'll continue to do that. I would say just in his confidence alone, because he's beginning to, he's beginning to get comfortable out there. He's beginning to get comfortable with making a mistake, because you're going to make some mistakes, and it's not going to be the end all. So I think he's just more comfortable out there, just doing the things that we do, and I don't think he's so worried so much. So I think, I mean, I'm not going to say that the game slowed down for him yet, but I think he's just more at ease making decisions. Yeah, yeah. So far he has. There's really not just a common theme. I mean, it's been a multitude of things, whether, you're a breakdown in protection based on, personnel that you have on the field, lack of continuity, I mean, there's a lot of different reasons. It's not just one thing that, has dictated. It hadn't been, okay, this quarterback hadn't done it, or this receiver has run the wrong, just, it's been a, because if it was, it'd be easier to fix if it was one thing.
Particular challenges do they present?
Yeah, I think is it Daniel Jones? I think he's done a really good job of running their offense, and David's always he's always done a great job of preparing his football team. But I think he feels really comfortable with this kid. This kid can do everything that I think he wants to do offensively. So he's able to attack you in a multitude of ways. He can do it with his arm, he can do it with his legs. He's good in the RPOs, which is all that's gonna open up things for those running backs. He's the same guy. I mean, he's probably more comfortable now, and they're able to do more things with him. They're probably more comfortable with some of the calls that they make, knowing that he's going to make good decisions. And so he's, I think he's a really good player. Well, there a lot of pressure, a lot of pressure, a lot of movement up front with their D line. They're playing a lot more man coverage. I mean, they'll play cover 1, cover 0. They'll do it all and outnumber you in the box. I mean, I don't think they've given up 65 yards in a game rushing, I think, this year out of the 3 games they've played. So they're getting after it pretty good. Yeah, I thought Cole Holcomb played his best game that he's had so far this year. And so, and John Smith came in, and John Smith did some really nice things. I mean, there were a couple plays that we would have liked to have gotten him in better position, but overall, I thought he did well. Yeah, well, Miles going into the year was going to be our starting nickel, and then when he went down at the end of the summer, it forced us to do some different things. But it was nice to get him back. I think that was his first series out there when he got the pick, so that was a big play. But he really gave us some things that we thought we were going to have at the beginning of the season, so we can do multiple things and do more things with MJ Stewart now. Yeah, he came in as a safety, and we played him in some corner and trying to train him so that he could be the nickel, because he's got coverage skills, he can cover, but he can also support. So we wanted to be able to do more. We wanted to put him in that position. We could get more out of him. I think, attendance is an issue all over the entire country. I think, now that every game is on TV, I think it's much more difficult to get people in the stands. This is the way it is, and TV's, you're trading TV dollars for butts in the seats is what you're doing. And so it's just the way it is. You continue to try to make the game day atmosphere fun for people, and let people and their families know that they can come and have a whole day of entertainment instead of just a 3-hour game. That it can be an entire deal with tailgating, and they can just come and have fun with their family. And so hopefully that will continue to grow.
In your mind?
We talk about, as a team, this is something that we've been preaching since day one, that it really doesn't matter who we play, where we play, when we play, what the surface is, what the weather is, all those different things that we don't control. We try not to let that affect anything that about the way we play the game. We should always play the game the same way. And so I'm going to say no. Recruiting-wise, I think it's an issue that everybody in the country is dealing with, and everybody worries about it. I think every administrator worries about it. Because it's something that, that everybody wants a full stadium, and we got to find a way to make it happen. Doesn't matter, we're going to play them, and the conference there, we're going to play them early, and so, we gotta be ready to go no matter what.
Would you prefer to play?
Yeah, I like them later in the season, I do, but it just, that's another change I think that's coming with, with all the TV stuff, is that they're gonna dictate when we play, and so it's not necessarily going to happen at the end of the year.
Is that the reason why?
Oh, I couldn't tell you that. Yeah, I don't like that. I do like having a little bit of room between them. Yes, because I think it's we've got there aren't a whole lot of teams that have multiple rivalries in a season, and so it's tough to do that back to back. That's not safe to assume. No, but I don't know. Okay, thank you. Now it's safe to assume. It was, if you were out there every Sunday up until this point, you wouldn't have known any difference. And that's a good thing, because that's the way I want our guys to handle it. They were obviously very happy after the game and Saturday night, and when we come to practice on Sunday, we know we're going to be critical about whether it's a win or a loss. We got to get all the corrections made, and then it's put that game to bed because it's over with, and then let's move on. So, but they moved around just like they did the other Sundays. They really have. I wouldn't tell you that they were overly excited. They were just like they were on the other Sundays. I haven't seen it. I got no idea. I really don't. That's safe to assume.
So last year was like this by school.
Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah, now that you brought that up, I do remember that. I got no idea. I hadn't even thought about that. I really don't know. Yeah, we were, and that's something that you sometimes you take for granted. Here's a kid, he's starting his first game, and at the center position, and we didn't have any bad snaps. We had, he communicated well. There were very few issues, of a lack of communication or somebody didn't hear somebody. So that's a big plus. So I have to say that JJ did a great job for us.
Is it surprising?
Yeah.
Is it surprising how good he's doing so far?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm surprised. That's what you train for. And he, I'll tell you what you can, what you can say is the guy was a backup and he prepared himself as if he was going to be a starter. And the opportunity came up and he took advantage of it and he did a really nice job. And so that's not easy to do.